Glock 19, been around for a long time, since the 80s. This one right here is a Gen 2 from probably around 1990. This is the Hellcat, brand new 2019. And this is just a brief look at how they're similar. If you cut this portion of your Glock off the trigger guard, you'll find that the trigger on these are pretty much identical. The location, the reach from the back to the front where you're squeezing the trigger, uh, where you can get up under the trigger guard on the grip, they're the same on the Hellcat versus the Glock 19, which probably the Glock 26 as well. I'm not sure about the 43X, but line them up here and where my thumb sits, they're just the same. So they feel very similar when you're shooting them, which kind of surprised me. I'm trying to line them up here. You can try to look through the trigger guards at the triggers, and you'll see the triggers are even the same. They call the Hellcat a flat trigger, but really it's just looks like a Glock trigger to me, identical to it. So let's put the Glock on top, try and look underneath there too. They feel very similar to shoot. The Glock 19 is obviously a bigger, meatier gun, but just gripping the guns feels very similar, especially because of that portion where I like to kind of get up high as I can on the gun, and these you get up on the same spot, and the trigger reach is the same. Which kind of surprised me, being the tiny little Hellcat, that it would feel somewhat similar to a Glock 19. One of the big differences in your mag well is, well, the grip portion of it is longer. Obviously, the Glock 19 holds a 15-round magazine, whereas the Hellcat holds an 11 and a 13. But you look at the back portion of the Glock 19 on the right, that big hollow cavity makes the grip a lot meatier. Anyway, I thought it was a little bit interesting. Whether you think it is or not is up to you, but another difference obviously is your barrel length, a lot longer on the Glock 19, which translates to a longer slide. And a longer sight radius, which, does that make a big difference on a gun that small? I'm not sure. I think they both shoot very well. Glock 19, I think, is the most popular handgun around, and for good reason. I like it. The magazines I thought were interesting. This is the special 13-round magazine for the Hellcat. This is a 15-round plastic and metal lined Glock magazine. And look, they're not a lot different. You got another 2 rounds stuffed into that Glock magazine, which is pretty impressive. So there's just a brief look. Glock 19 and the Springfield Hellcat. Both fantastic choices. Both good defense, going to serve you well.